All pleasant good morning to everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Today's guest menu looks like this. Special guest co-host Willa Brown. Also, Mike Jones, linebacker for Southern University, joins us in hour number one. And then in hour number two, Southern University basketball player Drayshawn Allen joins us. Here's what's trending on the Carlos Brown Show. You just saw a clip of Southern University's band. Well, the band will get new uniforms for the first time in 6 years. That's good news. I always like positive news to start off the show. Also, with Southern University, from the Office of Commissioner Devontae Lewis of Louisiana 3rd District has awarded Southern University's A.W. Mumford Stadium $1.265 million to make Mumford Stadium energy efficient. And this includes LED lights. And according to my other source, they'll be able to change the color of the lights during the game. So the atmosphere at A.W. Mumford Stadium, new lights, courtesy of Devontae Lewis, the Office of Commissioner, the Louisiana 3rd District. That's what's trending on the Carlos Brown Show. Willer, good afternoon to you in the Eastern Standard Time.
Good afternoon, Carlos. How things going?
Going pretty good. Hey,
Good.
another day to be alive on this great planet. Although it has some problems, it's good to be alive. In other words, what can Brown and Brown do for you, Willa Brown and
Well,
Carlos Brown? Melody, producer of today's show. Welcome back, Melody. Appreciate you. Um, Band uniform, Willer. As a sitting associate AD with head AD experience, you always got to be happy to get good news in this sense. It,
there's no doubt about that, Carlos. No doubt about that. And 6 years is a long time to go without new uniforms. I couldn't imagine a football team or a basketball team wearing the same uniforms for 6 seasons. And it's got to be that's got to be a plus right there. Hopefully, the material is something that's a little bit more climate friendly. You know how these band uniforms are, these old wool uniforms that they like to wear, and
going to be
kids
very
falling
hot.
out as they march in and all that sort of thing and stuff. So hopefully, it's a little bit more climate and energy efficient. But I would say it's something that's long overdue, and something that definitely probably was needed. No doubt about that.
Oh yeah, well, when you say it in 6 years, you're absolutely correct. I don't know, maybe in a perfect world, perfect situation, what would be a time frame between a, a, a new set like they're getting now and then uh, another set of uniforms?
Uh,
What's the years?
I'd say probably every 3 years, maybe, Carlos.
Ooh, that's tough, huh?
And I would think that, yeah, roughly 2.5, 3 years, because the band is, they're doing other things outside of, marching for athletic events
Hmm.
and all that sort of thing. So they're in the uniforms a little bit more often as opposed to a football team or a basketball team or something such as that. And quality of the uniform means a lot too.
Yeah.
If you're getting cheap material, then quite naturally you're going to be replacing it a little bit more often. If you're getting good stuff and you're paying good money for it, you nominally expect to be able to, string it out a little bit longer, that sort of thing. So, it's all about what you're trying to do on the front end. That's going to determine how long you can keep them going on the back end.
And let's just be honest. When you're looking at HBCU bands, they're part of the culture,
Hmm.
of the game day atmosphere. So when they look good, and then of course they sound good, then at
Hmm.
least in most parts, it makes everything just great. That
Hmm.
game day atmosphere. The Office of Commissioner, Devontae Lewis, a special shout out, congratulations to him. $1.265 million. Make Mumford Stadium more energy efficient. LED lights, and that's a good thing to me. That's again part of the game day experience when you have night games, or when if you have afternoon game and it's partly cloudy, you put on the lights. It's going to add to the experience.
Even more so, Carlos, it's great when you don't have to wait 15, 20 minutes for the lights to warm up, number one.
Good point.
It gives you your coaches some flexibility in terms of practice times. If they want to get out there at 5 a.m., that sort of thing, then they're able to do that, and everything's fully lit up, that sort of thing. Or if class situations prevent them from going during the prime 3 to 6 hours, that sort of thing, then they're able to do that, and don't have to worry about things from a safety point of view, that sort of thing. So, that's all a plus right there. No doubt about that. And, you know that these LED lights and things like that can get to be quite expensive. So, for the commission to step in and carry the load in terms of the cost of that, you can't beat that at all.
Yeah, when you just said cost, I'm looking at my notes. Energy efficient, and you see
Hmm.
it in my house, LED lights.
Hmm.
So now I'll get back to you and see if the electricity bill, what kind of savings we've gotten. But you really don't think about that. Maybe the average fan,
Hmm.
that's an expense. So if that
Hmm.
can help on the energy costs, hey, you check that box off as well.
Hmm. It's definitely going to make a difference from a cost point of view. No doubt about that. When you're energy efficient and you're cutting edge in terms of your electrical comings and goings, it's definitely going to make a difference in terms of the energy bill. No doubt about that. So, like you said, the average fan doesn't look at things like that, and naturally they wouldn't. But from an athletic administrative point of view, you're looking at all of that. So, all those things are things that you got to take into consideration. When you're talking about having X amount of home games and all that sort of thing. So, you got to be wary of all those costs.
And you guys have a tough job, Wheeler, because you really, when things are going right, yeah, you get a pat on the back, you hear some
Hmm.
congratulations, but more so, you know where I'm going with this.
Hmm.
It's when things are don't go the way that we as fans, alum, when we look at things, maybe it's not moving as quickly as we would like.
Hmm.
Different projects that you're looking at and you want to see them, take place quickly. But
Hmm.
but then there's a lot of other things that go on as being an athletic administrator, and so all of that to say you do have a tough job. You mostly hear things when their perception is things are not moving as fast, or you're trying to get this project done, that project done. That's when you kind of hear a lot of the noise.
No doubt about that. And, folks just have to understand that, from an athletic administrative point of view, we definitely have to prioritize. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. So, what may be more important to Joe Blow, the fan, may not be as important to, Wheeler Brown, the, athletic administrator. We got to slot these things in order. We know that the dollars aren't necessarily there to
Hmm.
lump everything in a pot and get everything done at the same time. So, we got to strategically look at these things and, kind of pick and choose. What's important here, what's important there. Also taking into account, gender equity issues, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do something for the male sports and not do something complementary for the female sports. And so, as you're thinking through these things, All those things come into play before you decide to make that particular decision.
And now, with that being said, I've said, and let's see if you agree with this. Director of athletics, staff, you can what to me help will help if you're out front, and if things are not going the way you thought it would, be transparent, and be in control of the narrative, and get out and let everyone know, your alums and what have you. Strategically, we need help here. We would like to do this, but we can't do it right now. Title IX. And where I'm going with Southern University, they have a
Mhm.
locker room project that um, they would like to complete, but according to what I'm hearing, it won't get done um, this season, because the what they were trying to do was have it before the first home game, but because of other things, you know, Title IX issues. Um, my source says different needs that they have a lot of needs that
Mhm.
they need to get accomplished.
Mhm.
Then why not come out and just let everybody know what's going on,
And
and
you
how they could
you
help?
got to you have a good point there, Carlos. I guess my thing would be, when I first heard of the initiative,
Hmm.
we're just talking maybe a couple months ago, maybe,
Yeah.
that they really started the initiative. So in my mindset right away, I was saying, I hope they're not thinking that this is going to be complete by the first ball game. That to me just
Hmm.
did not seem to be a realistic timeline.
Hmm.
To be able to raise the funds and then get everything done by the first ball game. You're talking. This is something that at least you're talking 8, maybe 9, maybe 10 months. Window
Hmm.
because you're going to have to raise the funds first before you do anything else. Nobody's moving, unless the dollars are in place.
Hmm.
So you spend so much time getting the funds in place, then you got to bring in the construction and, all the other things that go along with that. So you're talking about another
It's a
lengthy time frame. So I don't know if that window was a great window in terms
Mhm.
of putting it out there and saying we want to have this done by the first ball game. I mean, it probably would
Well,
have been better if this is
mhm.
a 12-month project or 18-month project.
Or
This
24.
yeah, or this is something that we would like to see or like to have in place and up and running by fall of 24.
Yeah,
And
it sounds like you're saying it's a process that has to be undertaken,
it
and
is.
it's a process. So that's what um, that you have to look at.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I know,
So
I'm impatient, and I know a lot of it, and I understand there's a process, but now, since you put it out there that you would have liked for it to be done a completion date before the
Mhm.
first home game, which would have been Jackson State. Boy, that'd have been
Mhm.
perfect.
Mhm.
Now that it's not, then just come out and strategically let everyone know where you're at in the process.
Mhm.
Um, what time now will be a completion date, even if you don't want to say a completion date,
Mhm.
but then just letting everyone know the process. Um, where you at now, being transparent.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. And it may be a thing of folk not knowing where they are in the process.
Well,
So the worst thing you want to do is to put misinformation out there. Sometimes if you don't know, Carlos, it's better not to say anything at all,
oh yeah.
or just say you don't know. And we're on the drawing board. We're looking at some things, that sort of thing, and because just like you said, you're going to have to do a complementary build for something within the women's sport. If you're going to put all of this money into football, You're going to have to do something for a female sport at some point in time,
That
and
is true.
you're going to have to do it very quickly. Also, so you need a companion project to go along with that. Maybe softball locker rooms, or uh,
They
maybe
have
soccer locker rooms, or what have you, something like that. But
volleyball.
yeah,
Volleyball has needs
you're gonna
at
have to
women.
do something. There's no doubt about that. So, you might as well go ahead and try to knock those two birds out with one stone. Because I haven't been in Mumford Stadium in a long time. Are the locker rooms that bad?
Well, they have the end zone complex, is how I call it.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't know if you remember that's in the north end zone,
Yeah, I remember that.
and now that may be about 9 or 10. Someone will let me know in the chat room how long ago
Okay.
that facility was built. But
Mhm.
you look at Jackson State, Alabama State, they have newer facilities.
Mhm.
So I, it's maybe not an athletic facilities war, and I know we should term it that way years
Mhm.
ago, but you have to always update your
Mhm.
facilities, and I know it costs. Um, Southern University has a campus-wide projects that they want to implement, and they've raised some of the money to get
Mhm.
that started. With even dorms, being replaced. Some already have been built, and then they have an athletic piece, with a
Mhm.
field house and uh, indoor practice facility, additions to the stadium. But
Mhm.
I know it takes time
Mhm.
and it's going to cost.
Mhm.
But that is the world that we're in now.
Mhm.
The facility upgrades.
Mhm.
Again, Jackson State, a nice locker room, you know,
Mhm.
turf. And I think you told me
Mhm.
all of that was on the
Yeah,
board to be done.
I had put together a proposal, before I left,
Mhm,
for all of those things. And the best thing about the locker room situation at Jackson State, we already had the facility there,
mhm.
with the Walter
Walter
Payton
Payton,
Center.
and yeah.
And I wanted to move everything over there. Move football into the Walter Payton Center, move the Athletic Hall of Fame into the lobby of the Walter Payton Center. And so you had the brick and mortar right there. It was
Mhm.
just a matter of getting the funding necessary to change racquetball courts into locker room space and all that sort of thing. And you could take the existing football locker room and do something with that for softball, baseball, that sort of thing. And so you could really kill, in essence, two birds with one stone, and not really have to build a building from scratch.
I
So
understand.
I think in Jackson State space, that was a little bit more comforting in terms of being able to get things done from a cost point of view. And you were able, you potentially, to do something for male and female sports, in one fell swoop. So, kind of worked out really good for them.
Yeah. Well, and I've talked to some personnel from the different sports, particularly football, because it's the engine that runs the department.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, they would like to have an updated facilities. Again, you look at Alabama State, Prairie View A&M. Oh, I couldn't mention
Mhm.
them. Out,
Mhm.
outstanding facilities. Alabama
Mhm.
State. So, you need to uh, update your facilities.
Mhm.
Where you can, and again, I know it's a process. You have to get outside money really to help. And I term outside sponsorships,
Mhm.
corporations. So um, just hopefully they'll be able to show something
Mhm.
this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
because it won't be done before the first home game. And you look at the young student athletes,
Mm-hmm.
both men and women. If they're used to nice facilities where they come from,
Mm-hmm.
they would like to have some
Mm-hmm.
at the college that they've chosen.
And
So,
that would be nice, Carlos. At the end of the day,
but I'm hearing a
you
butt
need,
coming, Wheeler. Am I
huh?
hearing a butt? Am I
At
about to hear a butt that's coming? Butt?
yeah, definitely. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure that scholarships and things of that nature are in order. Because in all actuality, they really don't care a whole hell of a lot what that locker room look like if you're giving me half a scholarship and Alabama State give me a full scholarship.
Well,
So I mean, so you got to make sure that at the end of the day that you are uh, your scholarships are up to par. Your scholarship funding is where it needs to be. Needs to be more than adequate, that sort of thing. And if I want the best kid in here, I got to pay for the best kid. You
well,
know.
we're going to get into, and we're going to take a look at Southern University's expenses, money coming in, the budget. We got a graph, two graphs, and then I got my information right here,
Hmm.
and we'll go through the numbers because last week, you remember when you're supposed to tell us about the
Hmm.
cost of attendance,
Hmm.
talk about that. Um, Also, we talked a little bit about ticket sales
Hmm.
last week, so we can kind of get a little bit more into that conversation a little bit later on in the show. But for right now, I'm going to take a break and schedule to have Mike Jones. Now he's a linebacker. Willie, you didn't play linebacker when you played football, did you?
No, I played offensive tackle. I was the left tackle protecting the blind
How come I should have known that?
side.
I know I don't look like a linebacker, but I was a short nose guard.
All right, all
Five
right.
5 foot 10. Hey, that was the only height I was blessed with.
Ain't nothing
But
like being in the trenches, Carlos. You can't put a price tag on it, baby. You can't put a price tag on it. You're hitting
that's
on every play.
that's right. That's right. And then you learn and when the career is over, it's over.
That's right.
Want to say good morning to everyone in the chat room. Let's call up some quick names there. AD Drew, good morning. Mary, good morning. Jay Lawson, Angela Potter, good morning from what is that? Bram, Mississippi. Am I saying that right? Angela, I hope I'm saying it right. Bram, Mississippi. Appreciate you. Jeremiah Clark, appreciate you as well. I'm looking on YouTube through that chat room. Also the chat room on Facebook and Twitter. Appreciate you. Gonna take a time out. When I come back, gonna visit with Mike Jones. Back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. You're all on me. I don't know if you remember that song. That was a rapper there, but Mike Jones from Kilgore Junior College. He's scheduled to join us in a few minutes. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, My colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
T. Madden and Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients.
Call T. Madden and Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
Stride K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum design for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Take control of your child's education journey. Discover the power of personalized learning with a leader experienced in preparing kids for a future they can be excited about. Take charge. Stride K-12. Enroll now for the fall.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. I'm Carlos Brown, joined by Willa Brown. I guess I shouldn't say what can Brown and Brown do for you. Maybe for this week. And now we're joined by linebacker for Southern University, Mike Jones. Mike, good morning to you, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Oh, boy, your voice is booming in there loud. We appreciate that. Kilgore Junior College, now at Southern University. Talk about the recruiting process for you. Of course, Kilgore Junior College, from what I've seen, they need no introduction. A very great JUCO and football program. But just talk about the process, your recruitment to Southern University.
Man, it was a great process, honestly. I'm lucky to have a great program at my JUCO. Kilgore College, we were ranked 10 nationally every year, up there with the Hutchinsons and the Butlers and whatnot. So, and we had a lot of my old teammates that, went to their D1 schools and, we talked about it. It was really beautiful, honestly. Everything lined up, it was all in God's plan, man.
Now you're right now, what, 6'2", 235, at least that's what it was listed. Correct numbers for you?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, linebacker, a position of need. Was that one of the reasons that you chose Southern University? The position of linebacker, did you feel that they had a need for some linebackers? And then did you feel that you could come in and help out right away?
Yeah, most definitely. And so with that being said, as far as, picking up a junior college guy, I already have college experience. You know what I'm saying? It's not like on par with picking up a freshman and then you kind of got to mold them. I already know what it is. You know what I mean? So pick up really fast.
Now, back to your recruiting process. Any other offers besides Southern University?
Yeah, I had, Mississippi Valley, which is really like the one that opened up like the HBCU kind of offers, and people in my inbox as far as Twitter, and then like PWIs like Lamar, UIW.
Well, that's interesting. So, with that being said, Southern gets you make the choice for Southern University. Your recruiting visit, what did you enjoy about that? As far as how university, just kind of talk about that.
Man, the atmosphere. I remember one of the position coaches they had took me to the Grambling versus us game was going on for basketball, and just being in that dome, just the atmosphere, man, just seeing my people just thriving in there in that dome and just having the time, and then people walking up to me. It was really just the atmosphere was just beautiful. It's nothing like SWAC football for real.
And your coaches. I mean, of course, you met them, and Coach Dooley, of course, the head football coach. He has, a lot of experience. But then your position coach would be
Well,
none
as
other
far
than Coach Graves.
yeah, well, as far as Coach Dooley, really a man about his business, and he reminded me of my old JUCO head coach was also he was a black head coach. And it's funny because I've only had black head coaches throughout my like football career, so I think that's really beautiful for black men to connect with, and be father figures to young black men. And it's funny because it's funny how God works. Because check this out. So I found out on my visit that Coach Dooley actually grew up with my grandfather, and I think it was Ninth Ward, New Orleans. Mm-hmm. So that was like some small world type stuff.
Well, that seems like that, Wheeler. That seems like that was maybe a sign there, because it sounds like, Mike, you were, and correct me if I'm wrong, you favored going to HBCU one way or the other, and that's the experience that you wanted to have.
Absolutely.
Mike, let's talk about where you are academically, and what are your goals from an academic point of view. Where are you trying to take this thing at the end of the day?
Well, right now, my major is history, and then as far as academically, I'm a all-A student. As far as the summer, I'm a full qualifier, so you're gonna see me suited up this coming season.
Oh wow, we're not gonna ask you if we never ask anybody if they think they're gonna start, but you believe that you can contribute right away. And then two, follow that up. Talk about some of your teammates at that position, linebacker.
Well, we have Jalen, and I'm sure you guys know Rose and Jalen, really just super quick, instinctive linebackers. I've watched their film, being connected with film and just being at practice with them. And we connected like super, super quick. It was like almost like oddly how quickly we connected. And it was just like and I've only been up here for the summer, and it's like I've known him for years already. So I think, and that's really a connection like that is really how you get a team 1-0 each week.
It sounds like Wheeler, Mike is talking about, also the chemistry, being involved with your teammates. And I guess right now it's more of in summer school and then conditioning, working out. We had a couple of Southern players on, defensive tackles, Zachary Christian and Rasheed Lyle, and they basically talked about, conditioning and just getting yourself prepared, both academically and athletically for the upcoming football season and fall camp. Talk about the conditioning going on right now, working out.
Hey, look, hard work ain't easy, man. And easy work ain't hard. So look, I'll be lying if I said I want it to be easy, but I think we have a pretty good strength conditioning coach. Our old one had went to Auburn. He came from LSU, from what I know of. I didn't really get to meet him, but Louisiana humidity ain't no joke, man. So that's all.
No, wait a minute. Now I gotta jump in now. Wheeler, last week We had Jelani Davis, and people are still emailing me about that. Did you mention humidity? He's from, well, he was in Jackson, and he said Jackson, Mississippi, was hotter to him than Baton Rouge. And I had some people DMing me saying, "Tell Jelani just wait." He hasn't seen it getting hot, but the humidity difference. And so, Mike, when you mention it, it's something you have to get acclimated to, correct?
Yeah, most definitely. But with me being from, so my hometown is Houston. So me being from Houston, like
Same weather should be, right?
yeah, pretty much. So I mean, it's not like it's a huge deal, but it's a difference though. And so with each difference, you just gotta get acclimated to it. And it's nothing that should affect anybody or me during game time though. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
nothing.
Willa, we're looking at the footage of
I see.
Mike and from Kilgore. Am I saying that right? Kilgore?
Yeah, Kilgore College
Hmm.
was well. This was actually this is before the season. I got some. I don't know if you pulling up on Twitter, but I got some in season footage that the coaches up here really like.
Well, I must have missed that one, unless our producer can pull it up right quick. But I'm impressed with what I saw right there. But
Hmm.
um, talk about your strengths. You believe as far as on the football field.
Most definitely, quick twitch, high motor, and speed. Really instinctive. Those are like my biggest strong suits. Just really just a hard worker. But I don't like to speak too highly on myself. Like you'll see it. Like I don't have to say I'm a hard worker, but like all my teammates know. Like in the weight room, like me and my linebacker, Jalen, we putting the most weight on squat, bench, like you name it. So what's understood doesn't need to be said. So
Right. I understand. And Willa, when we ask a question about strengths, then we come back and ask about what you think
Hmm.
you need to work on. And that's always interesting because it's always something you can work on that you want to improve on.
well, most definitely, fluidity and flexibility. I think speed and that goes hand in hand, and I think at any level, a lot of people kind of neglect that. So just working on that, getting in and out of breaks. I think that I can always work on that and get that better. Most definitely.
Now, before you know it, it'll be fall camp coming up, Charlotte, and then the season. As athletes, do you peek at the schedule, or you don't really worry about the schedule? That'll take care of itself.
No, I'd be a fool not to. You see, we have the game. I've already been watching film on Alabama A&M, Jackson State. I've already been watching film on these guys. I already seen they spring game and whatnot. I feel like if you're too lackadaisical, that's when you kind of go in with a mindset of like, this is anybody can beat you at any moment, no matter in what division, conference. So I'd be a fool not to already be like looking at my schedule.
And Willa, that's interesting because last year, of course, Southern finished first in the Western Division, made it to the SWAC championship game against Jackson State. With that being said, Mike, does the guys, use that as motivation to say we got to the championship game? Now we need to make that next step and try to win it. Is that motivation for you and the guys?
Yeah, we wouldn't take a step backwards. We would only take a step forwards, and so that's why you incorporate a lot of JUCO pieces and people from FBS schools. We have some safeties and transfer receivers. Just fill in the missing pieces because people graduate. This is college football. People graduate, go to where they need to go. People transfer to different schools, and so you fill in those blanks. And so, yeah, we're not trying to take no step backward. We're definitely trying to bring guys that are bought in, and try to be, like I said, 1-0 every week.
So, in other words, expectations. And from an athletic standpoint, their motto is Southern is the standard. Expectations. You guys feel like you can deal with those expectations, and that's not going to be a problem.
Absolutely not. Matter of fact, we want the eyes actually. Like being eyes having on us, it would only help with recruiting, help with money flow, ticket sales. You know, it's gonna make Dooley look good. It's gonna make the players look good, and it's just more of an opportunity. Like what's better than a team always going to the playoffs and making back-to-back championship appearances? You know.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to Wheeler. If you have a question or two, jump right in. I'm going to look in the chat room. Got a question for Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll read it. Can you ask if he will play inside linebacker or outside linebacker? That's a good question. In the chat room, you got a question for the guest? Just ask away, and I'll relay it.
Well, I can play both. So at Kilgore, I played inside and outside, and so really, I think with me being versatile, it can only help my team. You know, so if someone goes down, like, oh, he can do this and that, and like I can do both. Now, as far as what I prefer for my build, would be more so inside. But I'm like, look, you hear a lot of guys say, I play defense. I play defense. You understand? So if you understand the game of football, you can plug anybody in each way, and they can be successful. So
yeah, because even last year, you had Jordan Lewis when he came to Southern University. He was defensive end, pass rush specialist. Then he moved to linebacker. So he was able to play both positions. Which one takes inside or outside takes the more IQ and physical ability, or is it even with either position you play in?
now it's definitely inside for sure, most definitely. I mean that goes without being said though. You know, is inside we're the quarterbacks of the defense. You know, so not only do we have to know what we're doing, we got to know what these ends are doing. We got to know what our tackles are doing, corners, safeties, and we have to relay that off. So I mean, end is pretty self-explanatory, but it also takes some IQ. I wouldn't say it's like easy or nothing, but it takes some IQ.
Right.
You know.
Well, Willard, my limited definition of a linebacker, he supports the run, he helps in pass coverage. He does a little bit of everything.
Gotta
Very,
do it all.
very important. I'm an old former defensive lineman. It's a different thing.
So, Mike, what's your personal goal for this year?
My personal goal, honestly, have fun with my teammates, get wins, and really just build my name. Like coming in, I know a lot of people didn't really know my name from being from a smaller school like a JUCO, but really just building my name, making plays, having fun, and man, just enjoying the swag. I'm looking forward to that Bayou Classic, and it's funny because I was talking with Coach Dooley, and I don't know how he wants to do a story on it, but so I was born in New Orleans, and and then we were displaced by Katrina, and I was actually in the Superdome when I was 5 or 6 years old, and I was telling Coach Dooley, I said it's amazing how God works, because the last time I was in the Superdome was during Katrina, and the next time it will be is for the Bayou Classic. So,
man,
it's beautiful. Like that's not something that just happens every day. It's really just beautiful, and everything just lined up perfectly. I took care of my business at my JUCO. Stayed out of trouble, kept my head on straight, and everything manifests if you put your mind to it, man. And I'm here.
Yeah, that's deep, man. Wow. Yeah, and we know about Hurricane Katrina and the damage that was done, but look at you now, brother.
Yeah, man, it was scary. Like I was a kid, I was with my mom as a single mother, and I thought the world was ending. I was such a kid, I still play back memories from it. It was so traumatic, even though I was 6 or 5 years old, but when it's so traumatic, you won't forget it. And so,
and I mean, even in Baton Rouge, we didn't get, of course, affected as New Orleans, but um, a lot of New Orleans natives moved to Baton Rouge, and now some of them are still here, and they bring a nice mix to Baton Rouge, even from a cultural standpoint. So sometimes from a thing that happens like that, good can come out of it. At least you can look back on it. You're blessed, brother, because
Yeah.
hey, look where you're at now. Another question for you: is there a linebacker, Mike, that you pattern your game after? And if given a choice, a sack or an INT? Thanks, Joseph. Great question.
well, the model my game after, I watch a lot of Darius. I watch a lot of Darius Leonard. I watch a lot of his game. Matt Milano for the Bills. I watch a lot of his game. Who's the other linebacker? Yeah, and of course Ray Lewis, obviously. Just really just great all pro linebackers, that play at a high level. And as far as the sack and INT, I think honestly, INTs are definitely better on the stat sheet. Because as far as like sacks, and I remember watching this interview, and a guy was saying a lot of sacks are like how would he say? It's like stat sacks, because INT obviously that gets the defense off the field, puts the offense on the field. But like, say you get a sack, and it's like, it's a passing down. And say it's like third and short, it ends up being like you got to punt the ball.
Get off the field.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not as impactful. I say it's like an INT. So I definitely go INT, because INTs can turn into a pick six quickly if the blocks line up. So
now Willer, he said a name, Darius Leonard.
Yeah, South Carolina State. Mm-hmm.
Now you know what, Mike? I'm gonna tell you about this. South Carolina State and Southern in the SWAC MEAC Challenge. Leonard was, and some may agree or disagree, he was the most dominant linebacker that I've seen in over 12, 13 years of covering Southern University. And that game literally came down to South Carolina State had a guy wide open. When I tell you it wasn't anybody 10 yards, it was probably a breakdown of coverage there. And the receiver dropped the ball. Everyone in the stadium just gasped. I literally almost had a heart attack. And I was much younger then. But anyway, he was very dominant. Very dominant. One of the most dominant defensive players I've seen come at A.W. Mumford Stadium. So when you mention that, his name, I just thought about it. With that being said, Mike, we appreciate the time. Any closing comments you would like to make to not only Jaguar Nation, but you have other fans and alums from in the conference that trust me, they're watching, and if they're not watching now, they'll watch the replay.
Most definitely. As far as a closing statement, man, I can't wait for the season. Like, it's everything. It's so beautiful, man. Like SWAC football in general, the atmosphere. Brothers and sisters coming together and supporting Southern University and other HBCUs is really beautiful. And I think it goes without being said that everything going on in the world right now, as far as politics and brutality and whatever, riots and protests and COVID, I think it goes without being said that as far as our people, African American people, we need to stick together more than anything. Because if COVID wasn't a testament of togetherness, then I don't know what will, So, and it's bigger than the game of football. Like, doing interviews like this, a younger person might see this and it might spark an idea, So, and I appreciate both you guys, for doing interviews like this, to Black athletes, getting their name out there. And it is really a blessing to have a platform like this And it's, hey, look, I can't even think of words to can't even
Well,
put it into words, man.
well, I appreciate it, and at your age, to be where you're at now and doing the positive things, you ought to be commended. I think about my niece who just finished her first semester in college, and the things that she had to go through, the pandemic, then the flood in Baton Rouge in 2016. So those things, it gives you a lot to think about, and the place that you are in now, you ought to be congratulated, and your mother and your family, because you're definitely going in the right direction. And I'll just say I appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We look forward to this upcoming football season 2023 for Southern University, and wish you much success. And go ahead, Willer.
And Mike, best of luck to you, man. You know, you sound like a really, really great kid. You know you're a grown man, but you know, all you guys are kids to me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 68 years old, so you know that says a lot right there. But you know, always keep your head on the swivel, baby, and you know, always be aware of your surroundings and what's going on, and you know, have no doubt things are going to work out the best for you. You know, get that degree at the end of the day, you know, means more than anything else that may be out there. And have no doubt that you're going to be successful in whatever it is that you aspire to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And football, you know, it's a key. A lot of younger guys. I'm 21, but a lot of younger guys, even older than me, you know, I tell football it's a tool. It's a tool to break generational curses. And so, you know, me using it as a tool, I'd be silly not to use this resource in the best of my capacity, whatever road I might take with it.
Yeah. Well, you're on the right path, and any adversity, I'm sure you will overcome it. Um, we'll talk again real soon. A lot of people are commenting in the chat chat room about you as a person, and you know, we in this interview we talked a little bit of everything, and so enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk again real soon. Appreciate you.
You guys too.
All
Take
righty.
care.
That was Mike Jones. I kind of wish I guess in my pre-show information, I probably should have come up with some in-game footage. But anyway, you live and learn, you adjust on that one. Thank you, Kenneth and Angela. Melanie says, Willa, you do not look like you're pushing 70. You don't. I, I only thought you maybe were a few years older than me, Willa. What can Brown
I
and Brown
wish.
do for you?
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Oh yeah, but you know what? You know, you take it one day at a time, huh?
That's it.
That's
That's all you
all.
can do.
That is all you can do. When we come back, it'll be hour number 2. Now we can get into some of the Knight Newhouse College athletics database. Look at expenses, revenue for Southern University, and then you'll talk about cost of attendance. Then in the bottom of the second hour, we'll visit with Drayshawn Allen. He's a member of Southern University's men's basketball team. And you know what, Willard? Right now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna have some more information about some soccer signees on the women's side. And before anyone gets on me, which rightfully so, they can. We were talking about Title IX. I'm going to reach out to some of the women student athletes and invite them on the show and talk to them. So I want to be Title IX compliant, and we all can do a better job of that.
Oh, no doubt about
All
that,
can do a better
Carlos. No
job.
doubt
So
about that. No doubt about that.
I'm just gonna have to punish myself on that. Maybe I'll have to find some kind of punishment for me. But anyway, that's what I plan to do. take a quick time out. When we come back, it'll be more of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head and Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head and Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Majesty is a premium health and wellness tea line focused on bringing delicious yet healthy tea blends to the community. Filled with an abundance of vitamins and antioxidants, we work to blend teas with exotic spices and fruits to produce scrumptious and wholesome beverages. So check us out at mymajesties.com. That's MYMAJESTEAS.com. My Majesties, an Urban Passport member.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show, right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown. You know, in my earlier days, I was known as the franchise. You remember that, Willer? I gave that nickname to myself, I guess.
I heard that. You can pick them, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Because remember when we first met, it was a SWAC Media Day, and you know, you were a guest on the other show that I had, and I don't know. I think we hit it off right away. We agreed to disagree on a good bit of things, but it was just great, you know, conversating with you, and you gave your opinion, I gave mine, and you probably were right most of the time, but you know, hey. That's the way it goes. Please hit the like button, like, subscribe, and share. this show, Black College Sports Network. We definitely appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, you missed Mike Jones, linebacker for Southern University, and Willa, a very, very smart guy, both
Mm-hmm.
on the field and off the field.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly everyone is kind of commenting on, you know, the interview. They enjoyed it, and Mike, how he presented himself, as
Mm-hmm.
far as he's going to go places.
And the more
He really is.
opportunities we're able to give kids like that, the better off that they're going to be.
Yeah,
Because a lot of times, you don't really know what kind of skills these kids are bringing to the table. And for them to be able to express themselves in venues like this, it's invaluable, really is.
inside the HBCU Sports Lab, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, a guest next week on this show. So we look forward to that. Got another surprise that I've been after this person for a good while. He's a famous quarterback that played in this conference, and now he's coaching. And he threw the ball a lot, and I mean a lot, to one of the most historic receivers, not only in college but the NFL. Got a clue of that, Willer? Who that could
Willie
be?
Todd?
Oh yeah, you spoiled it there. I guess I threw that softball out there. That was a huge one.
Yeah. I wanted to say Aaron McNair, but that would be almost impossible. Unless
Yeah,
you got a long distance line. But
but I got a chance to see him play. I mean, just oh my goodness, wow, tremendous, just tremendous. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about Southern Universities, and this was released last week by Knight Newhouse College Athletics database, also USA Today, and I saved the information from last week as far as ticket sales and stuff. But right here, you see the graph. That's Wheeler total revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then we're going to put up. Now, I hope I hadn't got myself confused off the bat here, but total revenue and then expenses. So we can see 18.19 million in total revenue. Are you in? Let me get your thoughts on that, Willa. 18.19 million.
Well, Carlos, right
It's
off the bat, that's an impressive budget. Yeah, I mean, no matter how you want to slice it, and we can have the boo birds call in and say it's inadequate, so forth and so on. $18 million, HBCU athletic budget. Carlos, that's a good budget. And, especially when you're looking at the fact that at this particular time, you're talking about sponsoring only 15 sports. Now, I
oh,
know a couple other sports are coming up online, that sort of thing, which is
right,
going to eat
right,
into this a little bit, that sort of thing. But, as I look over it overall, Carlos, it killed for an $18 million budget. I mean, it can always be better, and I guess it depends on who you're trying to compare yourself to ultimately. Does it compare to the North Dakota states of the world and those folk? Probably not. But for the level that Southern's at right at this particular time, it's not a bad budget at all. And
right,
it's a budget that screams to me I should be winning some championships in this arena, whatever that may be.
Wait a minute. Win some championships
Yes,
like Commissioner Cup.
yes.
Now they improved a little bit, but of course they were in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
But if you talk to some fans, here we go, some alums, well, should be doing a little bit better there. And and at one point, Southern University had won like 8 or 9 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But what have you done for me lately? I guess that was a ways back. But total revenue of that revenue, other revenue, 756,138. Corporate sponsorships, advertising, and license, 746,741. Now, donor contributions, $0. Competition guarantee, 839,000. Now, you saw that clip of
Mm-hmm.
uh, Southern's band. That game was at LSU last year. Grambling
Mm-hmm.
is playing LSU this year, coming up 2023. But the bulk of that money, 839,000. If I'm not mistaken, I think they got 700,000 for the game, and then another 50,000 to go to Southern as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that was like 750,000. And as much as some didn't think much of the game from a competitive standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
but from a financial standpoint, that was huge. Because if I'm not mistaken, McNeese and Northwestern State did not get that amount to
Mm-hmm.
play in that play LSU.
And I only have to go down the street to play. I mean, in
Hmm.
essence, that was a big plus right there. So your expenses were pretty much, next to zero, or as close to zero as you could possibly get, in the grand scheme of things.
You're absolutely right. I won't go over every piece of number, but I guess I'll see which ones are the important, and then Wheeler, you could follow up with your perspective
Mm-hmm.
on that. NCAA conference distributions, media rights, and postseason football, 540,537. Talk about that.
Well, and that's not a bad number at all. I think folk don't realize, Carlos, that the NCAA returns monies based
Hmm.
off of the institutional support from a scholarship point of view. So the more scholarships you give out for athletics, the more dollars you're going to get back ultimately from the NCAA at the end of each year. So, your schools, I'll just throw like maybe Mississippi Valley out there that don't give out as many scholarships overall, their return won't be as great as Southern's return. And so, at the end of the day, it pays to invest in your program from a scholarship point of view, so that you're able to increase the amount of monies that you're getting back from the NCAA on a yearly basis. So, that's all a plus right there, no doubt.
And so, conference distribution, media rights, in that will be included like the NCAA March Madness basketball tournament.
Yes, that would be
Portion, yeah.
included.
Okay.
Yeah, that portion of that would be included. Uh, I guess the conference has a formula, in terms of
Hmm.
exactly how much money they distribute, to the particular schools, because the conferences make their money off of the schools. No,
Hmm.
no doubt about that. Schools pay dues to the conference every year, that sort of thing, and the conference is getting monies from the various deals and sponsorships and ESPN rights and media rights and all this sort of thing. So I'm sure they have a formula out there for how much they're going to give the individual schools, things of that nature. So you got a few of those little areas that can be improved upon.
Hmm.
No doubt about that. I think the biggest thing, I mean, I look at, you guys in terms of student fees at really 19% or what have you. I mean,
Hmm.
some schools will kill for that lower percentage from student fees.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I
So,
could tell a story when I was a student at Southern University in 20 from 2005 to 2010. But yeah, student fees.
hmm
I'll explain that another time. That
hmm
story.
And see, I'll
Um.
just go into in terms of
Mhm.
comparison.
Mhm.
Norfolk State student fees are right around $1,300 a year per student for athletics.
Percentage wise, what would that be?
Ooh, wow. I don't know if I can count that high, Carlos, at the end of the day.
Well,
So I
I
mean,
understand. Any mathematician is watching. You put the who got their undergrad and their masters and their PhD. I could know one. He's going to be a guest next week.
but I don't know what
Mhm.
Southern's individual student fees for athletics are.
Well,
But if it's only encompassing 19% of the budget, it's not that high.
well, I'm gonna get to the actual student fees, the money for, and these
Mm-hmm.
numbers are from 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Southern number of sports teams 15. It says total unduplicated athletes 355, and the undergrad size. Because someone asked me, I said it was close to 7,000,
Mm-hmm.
6,560. Now in the heyday, Southern had at 10,000 students.
Mm-hmm.
Then you do the math time the student
Mm-hmm.
fees and the athletic fee. Um, but moving on, ticket sales 2,135,959. Institutional government support. Here's a big piece of the pie. If you see the graph, nine
Mm-hmm.
million seven hundred seventy six thousand 037, and then student fees $3,396 and 30 excuse me, 3,396,386. So you can see the graph in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of breaks it down, and then of course you have student and administrative compensation with severance. 1,670,467, and athletic student aid $3,575,363.
Mm-hmm.
So student fees, ticket sales. We kind of looked at that last week, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if I can reach over. Excuse me, and see where that ranked. I want to say it was seventh in the FCS level,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Jackson State was fourth. I think I got that right. Anyway, I'll look for it. I got it here uh, somewhere. But ticket sales, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Student fees and institutional government support. Your perspective on that, Willer?
Well, it's something that I mean you want that to be on the heavy side. I mean, I can't see there being any complaints, from that point of view.
Hmm.
If you want the budget to be increased now, you're not looking at those areas in terms of the increase. You want to look at some of those smaller areas like your sponsorships and things of that nature. You want to look at how can we help to increase those lines, in order to increase the budget. But you're looking at roughly what, about 74% in terms, 73% in terms of institutional support, including student fees.
Yeah,
You know,
72.41. But who's gonna
yeah,
fuss
who's
at you
gonna have
about
a point or
those
two?
numbers?
Yeah. And so I think from that point of view right there, you want to keep that as close to where it is as possible. And if you're going to improve on some things, improve in some of those smaller areas, that you're really going to have to go out there and do a bang up job in terms of getting those particular areas like your guarantee games, if that's a goal for you. Uh, Ticket sales, you always want to try to improve and make that go higher if at all possible. Your sponsorships, you want to make sure you're trying to do a bang up job, in terms of those particular areas. And if you can increase those three areas by a couple million more, then you're going from an $18.5 million budget to almost a 21 million dollar budget. Then you're getting into the playing field of some of the bigger FCS schools, that sort of thing. So, but for those who want you to improve upon those things so you can decrease in the student fee area or decrease in the institutional support. As we say, Carlos, that's hustling backwards. Yeah, and I don't think you can call that progress. Even though you're increasing in some of those other areas, if you're pulling back, at the same time that you're increasing, you're running in quicksand, and you don't want that because you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and I just kind of look at some of the other information, and you got a graph FCS medium, and then Southern University A&M College, and in a percent change of the budget that grew by 32% based on from 2017
Hmm,
to 2022.
that's
Now,
a big jump.
I understand that, but also I know much is given, much is expected, but then the
Mm-hmm.
expenses goes up as
Mm-hmm.
well, because I believe for the usually I know you try to have that budget at the end of the fiscal year a plus, or at
Mm-hmm.
worst zero.
Zero. Mm-hmm.
Zero. And so Southern, if I'm not mistaken, they were a minus, I think, but we're gonna pull it up, minus 500,000, I believe, maybe a little short of that. But Melanie, we'll put up the next graph, and there we go. Where the total expenses. Okay, and you can kind of see the graph. It shows you right there. Uh, you got all kind of things that goes into expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Other expenses, 1.1 million. Medical, 418,000. I'm just rounding them off. Competition guarantees, 62,000. Recruiting, you got to have a budget for that.
Mm-hmm.
84,074. Game expenses and travel, over $2 million, 2.1
Mm-hmm.
million, and that's across all sports.
Mm-hmm.
Facilities and equipment, which is important,
Mm-hmm.
6.5 million. Coaches compensation, 2.9 million.
Mm-hmm. When you look at the footprint of the SWAC in terms of where the schools are located, Carlos, it's going
Mhm.
to necessitate uh, a lot of dollars in terms of travel, that sort of thing. Yeah, and a lot of these trips you just can't take. There's not a lot of one-day trips out there. When you're talking about going to FAMU, or you're talking about going to Bethune-Cookman, or you're talking about going to, for you guys going to Alabama State, or going to Huntsville to play A&M, or what have you, that sort of thing. Ain't a whole lot of one-day journeys there. And when you're doing that for your other teams like softball, baseball,
Mhm.
things of that nature, volleyball, then those that aren't bringing in any monies at all, then those costs can get up there. You always want to be mindful of the student athlete experience, Carlos. So, you don't want these kids out there taking long bus rides on game day and all that sort of thing. And you got to be mindful that they're being treated. Volleyball is being treated in the same manner as football is being treated, and things of that nature. So those things are going to cost, and they're only going to get higher. So I mean, those expenses aren't going down in the least, and there's really no way to look at cutting back on those, and it's just a bullet you got to bite, and bite hard, and uh, pretty much suck it up and go.
Some of those are a necessity,
Mm-hmm.
as far as, and that's interesting because we talked about facilities and equipment, coaches compensation. That's
Mm-hmm.
all. That's all a part of the expenses. So 18.59 million, and we looked at that's expensive. Then we looked at the revenue. So it wasn't zero
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the year. It was a slight. and when I say slight, somebody else may not think of it that way, but a deficit. We'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
was a deficit, but that budget was 35th in the country as far as FCS
Mm-hmm.
with Southern University. Ticket sales, I believe they were seventh
Mm-hmm.
or fourth in the country. So there are some things going right, but
Mm-hmm.
here's the but. But some will say, with that, you know, that budget, Southern should be doing better as far as those championships, the best overall athletic department in the conference.
I would say you should be knocking on the door at some things,
Hmm.
Carlos,
Hmm.
and getting over the hump, when opportunity presents itself. But you should pretty much be in the hunt in every sport. Yeah, and I think the budget kind of dictates that. The budget kind of says that we should be in the hunt in every sport, and but we all know that no year is the same. Different situations happen and things come up and things of that nature. But you always want to be in a conversation, like I like to say, and with an $18.5 million budget. There's no doubt you should be in the conversation.
Yeah, that's true. And
Hmm.
if you're not, you'll hear
We
about it.
got to talk. That's right. That's
Oh, I
right.
mean, I mean, just even from the standpoint, uh, Jaguar Nation,
Hmm.
they animated. And I'm trying to think of some more adjectives that you can say. I mean, but you appreciate that.
Hmm.
Um, they're going to let you know.
And
That,
hopefully, Carlos, they're talking with more than their mouth.
well,
Hopefully
that
they're reaching
that is
into their
something.
back pocket or the
Yeah,
purse, and so
but that's
as you're
something
talking,
everybody can improve on.
no
The
doubt.
alumni, what um, Jackson State
Hmm.
this past week, you know, 50,000 was raised, not per se from an entity at Jackson State,
Hmm.
but I'm trying to think of their name. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
A support, kind of a support group, and
Hmm.
also a group that has a podcast.
Hmm.
Congratulations to them. That's what I'm
Hmm.
talking about.
Hmm.
That is helping
Hmm.
and supporting and giving back. And so
Hmm.
I'm making a broad statement. We all can do better.
Yeah.
Me included. We all can do better because if we don't give, then we don't have the right really to complain. It's better to complain but give, or
Hmm.
giving, then you can complain. Now
Hmm.
there have some that will complain and don't give. Oh, and by the way, thanks, Marlon. 2009, um, the addition in the end zone, the field house
Hmm.
complex that you asked me about, it was
Yeah.
2009.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's what, 14 years
Yeah.
old.
Pretty much.
So
That
yeah,
ain't. It's not. It ain't antiquated,
n-
but can probably
no,
use some refreshing it up. Yeah.
refurbishing. And then too, we talk about maintenance,
Mhm.
maintaining. When you get
Mhm.
something, you have to maintain it. You can get a brand
Mhm.
new car, comes off the lot or a truck. It depreciates in value soon as you drive it off the parking lot. I can't really understand
Mhm.
that one, but but you got to maintain it. All
Mhm.
change, tire
Mhm.
rotation. You know, I understand you have to clean the inside of the vehicle, keep that nice, and the
Mhm.
outside, but up under the hood is so important.
Mhm.
So maintain it.
Mhm.
So cost of attendance, and then we got about 5 minutes, and then we'll get to
Mhm.
our next guest.
Okay.
How
Uh,
important is that? Because I mentioned earlier to you last week, and then we had Roman Banks, director of athletics at Southern University, on, and that was something he was looking to implement across the board.
mhm.
However, you said that still is tough because of what?
You know, the main question is where is the money going to come from? You know, where is it going to come from? You know, you just stated all the numbers that are out there for Southern, and you know, you eloquently stated that you know they were $500,000 in the red this past year.
Give or
Okay,
take, give
so
or take.
give or take a few dollars. So we'd say, for the sake of argument, we'd say $500,000 in the red. Okay, but you're talking about adding cost of attendance to this equation. You know, now the question becomes, where is this money going to come from?
And
That's
two
number one.
sports.
That's not, and two sports.
Wait
That's
a
number
minute.
two.
Is it
Okay,
one, two,
and
three?
then
Three, I believe.
okay, you know, and you know, on top of that, what's your formula for giving that out? You know, we know that cost of attendance is designated by the institution in and of
Hmm.
itself. So, you know, each institution's cost of attendance is going to be different. So Southern's cost of attendance is not going to be the same as Jackson State's cost of attendance, that sort of thing. So, you know, how do we alleviate getting into that kind of battle, you know, where we are competing against our sister schools in terms of what we're giving out? You know, what formula are we going to utilize? Will the
Hmm.
full scholarship kids get up to the full cost of attendance? Will the partial scholarship kids get a partial check in terms of cost to attendance based off of, you know, the percentage of athletic scholarship money that they get? So, you know, will a 30% uh, athletic scholarship kid get 30% of the cost of attendance? You know, will the full scholarship kid get the full cost of attendance? That sort of thing. You know, so you got to kind of look at those things, and you know, how is it going to affect your smaller sports?
Hmm.
Yeah, and you know, so because you know a lot of these sports are, you know, have walk-ons on them who aren't getting any athletic scholarship dollars at all. So therefore, they won't be getting cost of attendance dollars. You know, what kind of animosity, what kind of, you know, atmosphere are you going to be promoting, you know, inside of your programs, you know, when and if you add this to the table? So somehow those things have to
Hmm.
be thought out and, you know, really researched, that sort of thing. You know, got to be some kind of fair and equitable formula somewhere out there, you know,
Hmm.
that's going to oversee this process, that sort of thing. And so, you know, it's a question that's going to have to be thought out long and hard prior to implementing it. But the biggest question, Carlos, like I said, where's the money going to come from?
Well, that's where you got to start first.
Mm-hmm.
and, and and I'm sure that will come from outside. When I say outside sources, sponsorships, partly, or is it part? Will be part from the university? Will sports dictate how much in the cost of attendance equation? I'm not sure. Or would it be one across the board per scholarship student athlete?
Good. And another question, Carlos, is, are there other things that are more important right now than cost of attendance? You just talked about
From
the
the
locker
outside,
room project. Yeah, you
yeah.
just talked about the locker room project and all that sort of thing. You know, where does cost of attendance lie in terms of all the other things that, you know, Southern's
Priority.
trying, yeah, in terms of what they're trying to get done. Yeah, so I mean, do we put the locker rooms on the back burner and put 300 more thousand dollars towards cost of attendance? You know, or do we flip that up, or you know,
Hmm.
how we want to do that? That's going to keep everybody happy.
Well, and then we mentioned earlier Title IX
Exactly.
issues you have to address. So,
Hmm.
from the outside looking in, from a non athletic administrator perspective, I would say probably Title IX issues number one, because then you don't want to get involved with lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I can say 1 and 1A. Am I allowed to say that? 1A would be the locker room project. 1 and 1A. Cost of attendance probably would be a little bit further down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get out of that one. I'm going to stop right there because I don't want to dig myself a deeper hole. But look, I'm learning as well.
Mm-hmm.
As far as some of these things on a day-to-day basis that athletic
Mm-hmm.
administrators have to go through. But
Mm-hmm.
again, this conversation we're having, I don't see anything wrong. And everyone, you tell me if I'm wrong. I don't see a problem with going out and explaining and being transparent. And I'm not saying that ADs are not being transparent,
Mm-hmm.
but some are more than others. But to me,
Mm-hmm.
you get out and you control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And you get out and explain and let everyone know exactly where you are as an athletic department.
Mm-hmm.
And let them know and be transparent.
Mm-hmm. But you got to have the blessing of your president, Carlos. Your
Well,
president is dictating all that more so than the athletic director dictating all that.
well, he could come with the AD. How about that?
And that part is true too. And that would be a big plus right there. Yeah. Can they stand the heat? Can they stand the heat?
I'm going to send out the invite, and we'll just see. I'm also thinking about having peer ADs on.
Mm-hmm.
I won't have four of them on at the same time, but maybe three
Mm-hmm.
of them, and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of bounce ideas back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to bet that some of the same issues that are going on at school A is going on
Mm-hmm.
at school B and C. The
Yes.
difference may be is how they address and are handling and how they are communicating
Mm-hmm.
their situation. You'll
Mm-hmm.
find out. A lot of times you think you are going through something and nobody else is going through it. When you get to talking and communicating, you'll find out you're not the only one
Mm-hmm.
that's
And I
going
think
through
I
something.
think the ADs communicate amongst themselves. Yeah, I think there's a lot of communication going on within those particular circles.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too many secrets out there. In terms of, I know what, Jason Cade was going through at Alabama State, or, I know what Akeem is going through at, Mississippi Valley, that sort of thing. And, so it's not, there are not a lot of secrets out there. And like you said, a lot of them do have some of the same issues.
Mm-hmm.
Mine may be on a grander scale than yours is, and so it's worth having that conversation out in public, if at all possible.
Well, we'll leave this part done for now. We can always come back. It's the Knight Newhouse College Athletics database, and I've kind of looked at not only Southerns but others in the conference. So we'll kind of look at some other institutions where there are. Got to take a time out.
Mm-hmm.
Long overdue. And I apologize for that. Coming up next is Drayshawn Allen, who's already graduated from Southern University, but he's a member of a Southern University men's basketball team. And we'll talk to him, of course, a new coach, get his thoughts on that and where they're at this point of their off season. We'll talk to Drayshawn Allen, scheduled next. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Stride K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum design for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Take control of your child's education journey. Discover the power of personalized learning with a leader experienced in preparing kids for a future they can be excited about. Take charge. Stride K-12. Enroll now for the fall.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show, right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown, Willa Brown, special guest co-host this week. And now we're scheduled to join with Drayshawn Allen. Drayshawn, as he's coming in right now. Yeah, he looks just like on the picture I'm looking at. That's him. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the Carlos Brown Show.
How y'all doing?
All right.
Doing fine. Just looking at your bio, from Michigan, played in Wyoming, and now in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was kidding you. What a
Yes, sir. Yeah.
culture, a difference of culture. But how do you end up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, playing for Southern University after being at other places in this country?
Like you said yourself, it's a big cultural shock. Um, and I love it. I love being down south. I've been down south before, but actually like living out here and like experiencing the day-to-day lifestyles is really like eye-opening. I enjoy it out here a lot.
Well, you love the heat and humidity, I guess, or you gotten accustomed to it, all right? I think he has a
Yes,
little
sir.
delay
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Michigan
Okay.
cold. Yeah.
Oh, I can understand that. Talk about Coach Johnson, new head men's basketball coach at Southern University.
I'm sorry.
Um, oh, Coach,
You can hear me? I think it's breaking up.
I hear you now. I was asking about Coach Johnson. Talk about him, the new men's basketball coach at Southern University. I think he's having Melody. Let's see if we can get him to log out and then log back in. But I was going to ask him about playing for Coach Johnson, the new men's basketball
Mm-hmm.
coach at Southern University. Drayshawn, you're back. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I was asking about Coach Johnson. Talk about him being the new men's basketball coach at Southern University.
Oh man, Coach Johnson. I tell you, he brings the energy. He brings the energy every day. We're gonna get the best of him every day, and he expects nothing less from us. I say he he's got a great foundation. I love what he's building and trying to bring to the the culture and the standard of Southern men's basketball. And I can say like it's on a whole nother level now. We're grinding right now this summer. We're working hard. We're going about 2 to 3 times a day throughout the week. But we also recovering, getting great nutrition. So it's heading in the right direction, I can say, and I love to see it.
Yeah, it sounded like Drayshawn was talking about Coach Johnson and setting the foundation. Wheeler with this
Mm-hmm.
basketball team, they're working hard in the off season. Right now. Talk about you're a student athlete. Your previous coach is gone now. How much of an adjustment, or is it a big adjustment now, having a new coach and learning his ways and way he runs the program and his philosophy, his personality?
Hmm. I can say, it's a big adjustment, and it's crazy that you asked that because a lot of athletes go through this adjustment in this phase sometimes in their career all around the world. And I can say I've been through it before in the past. When I transferred from my last school from Western Illinois, my coach had got fired, but also the pandemic had hit, so it was just a big misconvenience, and for everybody around the world. So, but now I found myself back in that position again. And at first, you kind of get worried because it's such a big change. You never know what's gonna happen, who's coming in. Like you said, you got to learn his style of play, his personality. You just never know. But I just want to thank God that he kind of gave everybody a chance. He just told us to hold us, to be men. Pass all our classes, do what we supposed to do off the court, and do what we supposed to do on the court. And you got a shot at this. So um I just want to thank God, for the opportunity. But right now, I think I'm handling it in the best way possible that I can.
Now, Drayshawn, you've graduated already. You told me when we communicated before the show. Does that
Yes, sir.
give does that give you um, an advantage or extra motivation coming in with a new coach, graduated already, and how can you maybe help some new student athletes to the team help with their transition?
Um, it's eye opening for me because I have a fifth year, so I'm playing for my fifth year right now.
Okay.
Through the pandemic, everybody got an extra year, so I'm actually gonna be playing. But being graduated and being a senior, now I have to like lead by example, set the standard, and really set the goals for real, for real. I kind of feel like I'm maturing as a way, as a player, and as a man doing this, and I can't wait to see what the future brings for it.
Sean, are you working on your master's degree or are you trying to get another bachelor's degree? Exactly where are you from an academic point of view right now?
I'm gonna go try to get my master's.
Okay.
Just because you always gotta have a backup plan, but I think I want to go get my master's.
Okay.
That's very good. Your undergrad is in what? Uh,
Sociology.
oh, okay. Yeah, took a couple of sociology classes, Will, at Southern University, and I will say I passed them all. But a very good feel where you have to really think and take account of different aspects of society. I'll put it that way. Uh, Visiting with Drayshawn Allen from Southern University men's basketball team. How would you describe your play on the court? Shooting guard, point guard, combo guard. You do both.
Um, I look at myself more as a shooting guard. I like, running the lanes, catching and shooting, penetrating the defense, getting off the ball. So I look at myself more as a shooting guard. I'll say in this offensive um segment we got kind of everybody, if you get the rebound and you can handle the ball, you really can initiate the offense. So that's what I do like about what's going on now. So, I'm gonna probably see a little bit out of two, but right now that's kind of like my role.
Now, some on social media have made comments. They were saying that it seems like this team will be under Coach Johnson. It seems to be that it's guard heavy. Would you say that, or it's just it happened that uh, that some of the recruits that he's signed that have come in, they're guards, but is it just going to be guard heavy, or is just part of a piece of the plan from a recruiting standpoint? Coach Johnson has implemented.
I'm not too sure, but I can say that I feel like we have, a mixture of players. Like we got our guards, we got our wings, and we got a handful of bigs, who are going to be a big part of our offense this year. I will say. So, right now our bigs are our anchors, and I try to tell them that every day. Like, we need y'all, man. So I feel like our bigs is going to be a big part of our offense this year.
Now, talk about some of those teammates. I mean, we've kind of been keeping up to date on continuously signing some student athletes. Next week, we were going to put up some graphics that just recently that they Southern has signed. But talk about some of those teammates that you're bonded with in those summer workouts.
Oh yeah, the guys, man. I say too. Another thing about Southern men's basketball, it's like a brotherhood. We always looking out for each other on and off the court. So that kind of motivates us. When we get in between the four lines to be for each other. And fight for each other. To get a win. But I can say we all grinding it out right now. Some of the new guys that are coming out here, they saying the same thing I say. They loving the Southern culture and experience. It's a lot of we have actually a lot of native kids on the team now, from around Louisiana. So they already accustomed to it. So
right.
I can say, it's a big melting pot. We got international kids. They loving it over here. So I think it's an interesting team. But we're ready to win. We're ready to roll.
Yeah, and Willer, last year, the Southern basketball team, the last 2 or 3 years, previous years, at some point in the conference race, they were number one. Going in, but it didn't end in the number one position. As a team, Drashawn, is that something that you think about, talk about, and is that motivation for you guys to say, hey, we we were close being number one late in the conference season? Is that motivation now to say, hey, we can, if we're that close, we can get over?
Yes, sir. And I've been on those past teams. Where we were number one. You know, through the whole conference, and then we plateaued at the end. And with basketball, it's always about peaking at the right time. But Coach KJ, he's trying to instill in us that we need to stay, consistent the whole way. You know what I'm saying? So that is motivation for us, not to drop the ball, at the end of the season, just to stay steady, stay focused, to stay locked in. But like I said before, we ready. We locked in this summer. I'm excited for it, and I can't wait for everybody to see what's going on.
You think it's a big difference? I'm thinking you guys probably always did things in the summer in previous years and bonding, but is it that this year seems to be different in that aspect? Maybe
Yes, sir.
because of a new coach, but and
Yes, sir.
maybe an influx of new people to the program.
I'll say, he with the bonding stuff too, he has us doing everything together. We wake up early every day, eat breakfast together, and we eat dinner together at night. We got our workout groups, we got our team practices, we got our lift schedule. So, we're constantly seeing each other, and it's a different schedule. I'm up every day, almost before 7 now. So it's been a while since I've done that before. You have your occasional morning practice, but no, we every day up before dawn. So I think that's motivation, and that's another thing that's keeping us, steady and on a consistent schedule.
Personal goals. I know they have team goals, but personal goal for you this season.
A personal goal of mine, is just to be myself when I'm out there. To play with confidence and play to my full potential. Going, it's my last year. I just don't want to leave no stones unturned. I don't want no regrets when the season's over. I want to know that I left it all on the table this year. So I'm trying to go hard every day. Stay focused, stay locked in, and stay motivated. And I'm just on God's timing right now. So,
Willa, I hope Sean Allen. With my next question, I hope he doesn't give me an answer that I'm not gonna like. But let's see. From an NBA standpoint, do you have a favorite team?
I got a couple teams. I'm forever home team, so I'm rocking with Detroit Pistons right now. But that's forever. I'm forever home team. But I like, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I won't lie. I'm a Lakers fan. So
well, at least Willa, Sean is not a bandwagon, because now you're going to see all these Denver Nugget fans everywhere. And Deshaun,
they can have that. I'm not with that.
I'll say I'm a Miami Heat fan since 2006.
Yeah.
So hey, we lost in the championship, but I'm still proud of that team. And the draft just passed, and now free agents is coming up. I'm just kind of interested in see, but Detroit Pistons have a legacy and a history, and so now they got a great new coach, Monty Williams. I think the sky's the limit for them. They're gonna trend upward, I believe. With that being said, any closing comments you would like to make to the audience as far as anything related to you personally, or a Southern, or Coach Johnson?
No, I'm good. I just want to say, thank you for having me on the show, and I also want to thank y'all, for just bringing awareness to Black sports in general, college student athletes, the analytics. I love, I was just watching the last little 10 minutes before I got on. I just love, what was going on, what was being talked about. So I want to thank y'all for that, and thank you for having me again.
Appreciate it, and got to be Title IX compliance. So I'm gonna have to reach out to some Coach Funches. By the way, got a new contract extension, Mr. Athletic Administrator Willa Brown. We'll talk about that in this last quick segment. But I'm going to reach out to women's basketball team, soccer, and have a chance to talk with them. So we got to be Title IX and compliance, track and field. Got to do all of that. But Sean, appreciate the time. Have a successful season, and we'll talk again real soon. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good day.
All righty.
Take care, Sean.
That's Sean Allen on the men's basketball team, 6'2", 175-pound shooting guard. Will, I like those guards that can do both combos. Hey, but whatever you play, be well in
play
that.
It well. That's right. Play it
Coach,
well.
Coach Funches, now up to $150,000, got a 4-year extension. For those who say Southern doesn't give you backing. And I always said, Wheeler, you probably won't get 4 or 5 or 6 up front, but you can get it depending on how successful you are in getting those benchmarks. So he goes to June 30th,
28,
2028.
7. Yeah.
28. But winning the tournament championship this past basketball season, I knew he was going to get rewarded. And 150,000, got some incentives in there as well. What do you think? You're Mr. Athletic Administrator.
I think it was a good move on the AD's part
Sometimes I think that you're
extend
extra tough there, Wheeler.
it.
But anyway.
I think it was a good move. You know, you're giving a proven commodity. You know, they're just rewards, that sort of thing, and you want to do that. You know, it's important that the people that you have that are doing good jobs, feel just as a part of the entire situation as the new people that are just coming in the door, and it's important to the other coaches to see that if they too do a good job, that the AD is going to look out for them and try to keep them on board, that sort of thing. It's always tough keeping good people, so Southern apparently stepped up to the plate, in terms of keeping their women's basketball coach. Salary isn't bad at all. You got enough incentives there to kind of sweeten the deal, that sort of thing. I was looking at the guarantee game portion. I thought that was a bit much to ask for, knowing that, the women's game is not paying anywhere near as well as the men's game in terms of securing guarantees. And, in order to bring in 195,000 in terms of guarantees on the women's side, you're going to have to play probably 8, maybe 9 games, in order to meet that threshold. And which means that
Brought that down a bit.
you're
Yeah, that's
looking at maybe 7, 8, or 9 losses
and 10
at the
road
beginning of the
trips.
year. Yeah, so all those things have to come into play also. But
Let me quickly ask you this, because we're literally about 2 minutes left, less than 2 minutes left. Charles Edmond always talks about this on this show. That coach is hired. Let me back up. He's going to be judged off of his conference finishes and conference play, not the outer conference. With that being said, and you've given plenty of examples in the past of rewarding a coach for playing all those guarantee games. So you agree with Charles that
if I'm an AD on the outside looking in, Carlos, and I'm the next hiring AD, okay, if he has applied for a position at my university, okay, and I'm looking at his resume and looking at his one-loss record, I'm looking at his conference record, but I'm looking at his overall record also. And so
can you put an asterisk? Can you put an asterisk by it?
Yeah, maybe you
because
can.
You're going to be on the road. You're going to play 10 money games, guarantee games, in some cases 12, and we see that team for the first time at home in person. I don't know.
But I mean, he gave him some security in terms of giving him a 4-year extension. So that was a plus right there. It's not like he gave him a 2-year extension, and so there's some give and take on both sides there, But like I said, when coach, tries to apply for that next position, wherever that may be, it may be a conference higher than the SWAC conference that he's in right now. They're going to look at that overall record, and some ADs may or may not give him credit for, having to bring in guarantee monies, that sort of thing. Some ADs may just look at the one-loss record overall, and if it's not flattering, kind of keep it moving. So, 6 one way, half a dozen the other.
Yeah. That about sums it up.
Yeah.
Want to thank Melody, producer. Welcome back. Bang up job. Also, of course, Willa Brown, guest co-host. Guest Mike Jones, linebacker from Southern University. And Rashawn Allen, basketball athlete for Southern University. Want to thank everyone in the chat room on YouTube. Appreciate you. And with that being said, we'll be back next Saturday at 11 a.m. for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Until next Saturday, as always, peace and God bless. And we don't have to see
I'm
you,
going to do this
Charles.
for Charles.
Oh, there you go. All right. Bye-bye, folks. Go Jazz, go Swag, go HBCU Sports.